All right, so today we're really diving deep
Uh,
into the birds of British Columbia.
all right.
And we've got this BC hunting seminar identification review to kind of guide our deep dive here.
Okay, perfect.
So this is kind of a cool opportunity to look at both the upland game birds
Right.
and the waterfowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can talk about, kind of what makes them unique, their habitats, and maybe even some cool adaptations that they've developed over time.
You know what always gets me is like how many different birds we actually have in BC. And these sources, they really lay it out well.
Yeah.
Starting with those upland game birds, so like the ones that stay on the land.
Right. Yeah, those are the birds that you're going to find, out in the fields or in the forests.
Exactly.
Not so much around the lakes and ponds.
Yeah.
And when we think about the upland game birds, probably the most popular one that comes to mind is the grouse.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the most widespread one in BC is the ruffed grouse. And it's easy to identify them because they've got that broad black band on their tail feathers.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of a key identifier.
Yeah, classic field mark.
Now we got to talk about the California quail.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so unique looking with that head plume.
They're stylish birds, for sure.
Very stylish.
And then there's the ptarmigan.
Okay.
Those guys are really something special. Like,
Yeah.
talk about adapting to your environment.
Right.
I mean, they're in the high alpine, the tundra,
Wow.
super harsh conditions, and they survive.
Yeah.
They've got those heavily feathered feet, just to deal with the cold temperatures.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive.
It's next level.
So it's making me think now about, how these different birds are adapted to such different environments.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've got these upland birds that are really, built for the land.
Right.
But then our sources also mentioned pheasants and turkeys,
Yeah.
which kind of, I think of more of a farm setting.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. The ring-necked pheasant isn't actually native to BC.
Okay.
Okay, we're introduced for hunting, but
Yeah.
they've adapted really well, and you see them all over the place.
Yeah.
And then wild turkeys, those are the largest game bird in BC.
Wow.
They're pretty impressive when you see them out in the wild, not just at Thanksgiving.
So that's really interesting. I mean, we've talked about these birds that are, land-based,
Mm-hmm.
but now let's kind of transition into the water.
Okay, yeah, let's talk waterfowl.
All right. So we're talking about birds that are obviously adapted for aquatic environments.
Right.
And one of the things I know about them is that they migrate.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Their whole life is tied to the water.
Yeah.
They've got the webbed feet for swimming. Their beaks are often specialized for filtering food.
Right.
And the sources do a great job of breaking down the differences between puddle ducks and diving ducks.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I've always been fascinated by the way that puddle ducks can just take off like that.
It's impressive, right? That springing motion.
Yeah.
Well, for them, it's all about efficiency.
Okay.
They feed in shallow water, and they need to get up in the air fast if a predator comes along.
Oh, that makes sense.
But diving ducks, they're built differently, right? They've
Right.
got their legs set farther back on their bodies.
Okay.
Gives them more power for diving and swimming, but they need a little bit of a runway to take off.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, two different strategies for two different lifestyles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was looking through the source material,
Yeah.
and there was this mention of ducks having like an eclipse plumage
Oh, right.
and a speculum.
Yeah. Those are some interesting adaptations.
Yeah, I thought that was really fascinating.
It's more biology than fashion.
Right.
But yeah, the eclipse plumage, that's like a duller set of feathers the males get after breeding season.
Oh, okay.
Helps them blend in while they're molting.
Oh, that's interesting. So they're kind of, incognito for a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Laying low.
And then what about that speculum? I mean, what is that?
So the speculum is that patch of color on their secondary flight feathers.
Okay.
It's often iridescent,
Right.
and it's thought to be important for species recognition
Okay.
and, attracting mates.
Oh, so that's how they tell each other apart?
Yeah, it's like their own little signal.
I mean, that's fascinating. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, I guess next time I'm out bird watching, I should be looking for that, that little flash of color.
Absolutely. See if you can identify them by their speculum.
So we've talked a lot about ducks.
We have.
But what about geese? These seem to have some pretty unique features as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Think about the snow goose.
Okay.
Bright white plumage, black wingtips.
Right.
You can really see those wingtips when they're flying.
Yeah.
Helps them stay together in those big flocks.
Oh, interesting.
And then you've got the trumpeter swan.
Yeah.
They're classified as a non-game species, which is good because they were almost hunted to extinction. Yeah, they're majestic birds, all white plumage.
Wow.
Really impressive.
You know, it's amazing how all these little details play such an important role in, their survival and their behavior.
For sure.
I mean, British Columbia really has a remarkable variety of bird life.
It does, and I think understanding the differences between those upland game birds and the waterfowl,
Right.
their habitats, these unique features, it's all crucial for conservation efforts,
Absolutely.
It also helps us understand the importance of responsible hunting practices
Right.
to make sure these populations stay healthy.
Yeah, I think this has been a really great deep dive into the birds of British Columbia.
It has.
And, as you go out there and explore the province from the mountains to the coast, keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears open.
Exactly.
You never know what you might find.
Yeah.
So think about it. What other amazing bird adaptations might be out there just waiting to be discovered?
Yeah, think beyond your backyard.
This deep dive is really just the beginning of your bird journey. So get out there